Light. Hello, beautiful souls. You might hear a little nasally sound today. I have just a slight cold. It's not COVID thing, that I don't want to say out loud because social media bans and all that, but it's not the thing. So don't you worry. Anywho, just wanted to come on and say happy new moon. I was called to do yet another video this month, so I am here doing that. The new moon falls tonight, depending on what time zone you're in. It might be early tomorrow morning, but it falls on the 28th, and this is a micro new moon. So what that means is that the moon is actually farthest from the earth that it can possibly be. So because of that, we might be feeling disconnected from this moon cycle. We might not be feeling as much as we otherwise would. It also might grant with it a sense of peace and calm, or the complete opposite. So you are likely at this moment feeling super, super peaceful, or very stressed and anxious and like you don't have enough space and time for yourself. So if that's the case and you're feeling the latter, you're feeling all of that anxiety and that stress and that pressure and like you don't have enough time and space for yourself, I want to urge you to just take a minute or two to breathe, to recalibrate, to really come back to center. A lot of that is actually not to do with the new moon. It's to do with Neptune going retrograde in Pisces today as well. So simultaneously with this micro new moon, we've also got this retrograde cycle that's starting today, and that's pretty prominent right now. Neptune goes retrograde once a year, basically for about 6 months out of the year. So usually for about half the year, we experience that Neptune retrograde cycle. So a lot of people will hear the word retrograde and they'll be like, oh gosh, like that, and then they're like 6 months, but with Neptune it's really just a perception shift. And that's the thing, is Neptune is all about perception and how do we perceive things and how do we see truth and what is the truth and what's illusion and what's delusion and etc., so on and so forth. So usually we experience this Neptune retrograde for about half the year, and then it's direct for half the year. And we have that cycle, I believe, specifically because Neptune is a teacher in perception flips. So if we're able to stay in a certain perception for 6 months, and then we're able to kind of be tested on that or made to question that or etc., right? And because everything's kind of flipped topsy-turvy as Neptune goes retrograde, then it really tests us, and it really makes us really dig into what is the truth and what is real here and what is falsity here and etc. So that's all that's going on with that. And we tend to feel Neptune retrograde or Neptune direct, depending on where it's turning. We tend to really exhibit symptoms of that, if you will, for about the week or two leading up to it, and the week or two after is when we're really going to experience those effects. So if you find yourself really questioning your reality right now, if you find yourself up in your head and you're like, oh gosh, like, am I crazy? Am I mentally ill? Am I, experiencing delusions? Feel into that. Really feel into that, because it's true. You really might be experiencing some sort of delusion or some sort of illusion. You might be having the truth opened up to you, or it might be the opposite. You might be stumbling into something that is false, something that is delusional, and being able to kind of recalibrate to your own truth and finding your way in that, finding your footing in that. I'm finding that a lot of stuff is coming through for the collective right now in terms of people really gaslighting themselves and like for their whole lives about their mental health, and coming to this place of understanding of like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not mentally ill, maybe I'm just psychic, or maybe I'm just being myself and other people have, you know, kind of raised me in this way to think or feel like I don't belong, or like what I'm doing is wrong or abnormal, or you know, etc. Hey Teo, thanks for being here. So if that kind of theme is coming up for you as well right now, it's super prominent and it makes a lot of sense. It's here. The energy is here for it. Neptune seems to be carrying that with it in this retrograde cycle very, very strongly. People are really waking up to their own truth and taking hold of that, grabbing hold of that and moving forward with it. And that's so beautiful and so incredible. And my heart is so full from that. So, and just witnessing others come into their power in that way. So that's what's up with Neptune retrograde right now. As far as this micro new moon, which of course is like what this video is for, and I haven't even talked about it barely at this point, but as far as this micro new moon, it falls in 12 sign astrology in the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of home, of hearth, of coming back to the self, of mothering the self and others. It's also going to probably bring up mother wounds as well. So if you are somebody who's working through stuff around your mom or your mother figure, or mother figures in your life, then those themes are likely going to be coming up for you with this new moon. But it's going to be, again, like more internal, kind of more subtle, mixed in with this Neptune retrograde energy. It might be like, there might be kind of like this illusory feel to it, right? Of like, maybe there might be this waking up moment of like, wait a minute, like, is that even a mother wound thing, or is that something I've been projecting? Or a wake up moment of like, wait, I've been behaving this way, or treating my partners this way, or treating my kids this way, or falling victim in this way to these people because I'm carrying a mother wound, right? Like that illusory veil might be lifted for you at this moment. So that's what's going on there. Really taking the time to kind of cozy up. Lots of big soul family feels with this new moon. You know, new moons a lot of the time I say are kind of a time to be a little more withdrawn, a little bit more introverted, a little bit more inward. But with this one, especially because it's a micro new moon, it's kind of not felt as much. It's asking for us to really lean into those soul connections a lot more strongly than we otherwise might. And specifically with folks who we're feeling really close with. So partners or family or really close friends, just soul family in general, really big feeling with that, with this new moon. And part of that is because in 13 sign astrology, this new moon is falling in the sign of Gemini, which is the sign of the twins, and it's the sign of duality, and it's the sign of connection and communication. And so this is really carrying along with it a huge vibe for some really, really beautiful communication connection here. So if you're wanting to talk, if you're wanting to connect with people, if you're wanting to kind of set the record straight on some things, especially with that Neptune retrograde thing that's happening, if you're wanting a check, right? If you're wanting to get that reflection from others around you, like, am I crazy? Am I not? Like, where am I misbehaving here? Where am I out of line here? Where am I, off point here? Hey, Kate, thanks for being here. If you're really needing those reflections to kind of get out of your head, this Neptune retrograde energy can really get us in the head, and it can really have us kind of like spin out a little bit. So in order to kind of ground that down, sometimes that mirrored reflection from others can be incredibly helpful. So I want to offer to you guys, at this moment in time, if you are feeling like you really need that reflection from others, make that phone call or set up that hangout, or, go to your neighbor's house, or like whatever it is that you're needing to do. Set up that video chat, whatever it is that you're needing to do. That might be some really big self-care right now, having that reflection from others. And I'm not going to say that it's going to be easy, because there are going to be many of you that's not easy for. You're going to probably hear things that you're not necessarily wanting to hear. And I almost said that you're not ready to hear, but as I was about to say that, I heard this message of like, you're always ready for whatever you're about to receive. So even if you receive something and you feel like, gosh, I wasn't ready for that, it happened at that moment because you were ready. And the message that's coming through right now really, really, really strongly is that just this reminder for you guys that the universe is not going to give you anything that you can't handle and that you're not ready to handle. So I just wanted to come on and impart all of that information onto you guys. Thank you so much for joining. To those of you who are here live, those of you who are here later, I'm going to go ahead and cut this transmission out so that I can go back and rest again. But I really felt strongly about coming on today and making sure that y'all had that info, and I'm wishing you a very, very happy, beautiful micro new moon and sending you tons and tons of love. Bye for now. Hello, beautiful souls.